Hollywood actors, the wokest of the woke. Well, the Actors Union passes a new resolution targeting Trump, but won't say his name, citing extraordinary circumstances. Here's what I love. You know, I really love China. China, I love you so much. You want to know why I love China? Because China has exposed the complete hypocrisy within our own country. Now, in reality, the amount that I love China is like on a scale of 1 to 100, 2 or 3 maybe. You know, they've done some fine things with invention, but for the most part, that is all completely outweighed by their human rights abuses, their theft of IP. And I mean, look, China's got serious problems. Censorship, for one, is something I am very much opposed to. But I'm jokingly saying that I love China for exposing this because you now have Hollywood actors saying, "Oh, Trump is so bad." I'm curious. What's all this? You see, apparently in this new film called Abominable, they actually have a depiction of the 9 dotted lines over the South China Sea. They call it the East Sea in Vietnam, I suppose. This is controversial, and it's China trying to seize ocean territory. It has been disputed by many nations. China is expanding its military operations, building military bases on these atolls, on these man-made, islands they're doing. And so let me get to the point. Hollywood is outraged at Trump. The NBA, it's outraged at Trump. There's a funny tweet. It says the NBA took more action over North Carolina's bathroom bill than they do over China's egregious human rights violations. But here we go. Look at these stories. In a film produced by DreamWorks, they show a map illustrating China's claims to the South China Sea. What? DreamWorks, what are you doing? Why, at DreamWorks, are they showing China's claims to the South China Sea? That is insane. Hollywood, bravo. You have proven hypocrisy can go further than I ever imagined. I imagine watching, you guys ever watch Dragon Ball Z? It's like imagining, an activist going, and then there's an explosion and their hair turns gold. And it's like, this is hypocrisy level 1. And I was like, there's no way they could become more hypocritical than that. And then this happens. DreamWorks Pictures depicting the South China Sea as Chinese territory, but then slamming Trump. Hypocrisy 3. They skipped over 2 in the series in case you didn't realize. Okay, I'm just kidding. Well, you probably don't, whatever. Let's read the story from the Daily Wire. Citing extraordinary times, powerful actors union SAG-AFTRA issued a resolution Friday meant to condemn President Trump, a member of the union whose name the resolution deliberately leaves out. This is not the first time the union has rebuked its Hollywood-hated member. While the resolution passed unanimously by over 400 delegates representing the 160,000-member union on Friday, fails to call out Trump by name, it begins by quoting his repeated description of the media as the enemy of the people. We're living in an extraordinary time when the news media has been attacked as spreading false stories and as the enemy of the people, the resolution reads. SAG-AFTRA has on at least 2 occasions since the last national convention issued strong statements on behalf of a free and unencumbered press. It continues, SAG-AFTRA believes that the entities that employ journalists must do everything they can to ensure their freedom, protection, and safety. As a proud labor union, representing more than 160,000 broadcasters, actors, and entertainers, the union stands with all of its members in ensuring that the basic rights of an unrestricted and independent press continue to be defended, it concludes. I agree. We absolutely need to defend the press above all else. I would also agree that for every tweet sent out about the Orange Man by these Hollywood actors, they could at least say something about what China is doing. When the NBA, when Vans, when Blizzard, when all these companies bend over backwards and say, please, China, shower me, make it rain. We could at least say something, right? So I get it. Look, let's be honest. There's a big difference between SAG-AFTRA saying protect journalism while, without using his name, kind of, nudge, nudge, it's Trump, by the way, and a movie literally depicting could you imagine if this is China directly saying we own this territory and it is disputed by all the other countries? I mean, look how far down the South China Sea goes. There are other countries there who need access to these waters. Well, China thinks it's theirs. Could you imagine if someone drew a map and Canada, had a line carved out claiming American territory? We'd be like, that's really weird, dude. Why would you do that? The point is, of all of the things to complain about, it is baffling to me that there are people in America who actually defend China. I kid you not. I am not making that up. They say that the Hong Kong protesters, oh man, they were attacking cops. Let's be real. China is just trying to protect order. And I'm like, dude, I do not want to hear it. China has committed such egregious acts. But you look at what happens. These NBA protesters have no problem, making political statements if it's in America, if it's against, the conservatives. You look at what Blizzard said. If you're not familiar, Blizzard banned a player. They reduced it to a suspension. And they said it wasn't about politics. It was about, these broadcasters should not have been talking to this guy about Hong Kong. And could you imagine if somebody started yelling politics? Oh, I could imagine, because y'all do it all the time. Blizzard always pushes a political message that is offensive to many people. They are full of it. They are absolutely full of it. There was a study I showed like a year and a half ago where they looked at Twitter to figure out where tribes were, and they found that digital marketing overlapped with the resistance. Nowhere near conservatives. That's why when you look to Oreo, when you look to Vans shoes or whatever, they have no problem putting out a shoe that's like, out and proud, LGBT pride and all that stuff. Hey, I happen to like those shoes, right? Awesome. I'm glad Vans makes them. And then when someone makes a Hong Kong protest shoe, Vans pulls it because China demands it. And listen, man, it's one thing to censor your movies. It's one thing to be like, hey, we're going to release this movie in China so we can't show the Taiwanese flag. You know what, man? You're releasing it in China. Fine. I don't like the idea. I don't think American companies should bend that knee. You should air the movie. If they want it, they get it as it's made and they can deal with it. This is a step up. Look at this. In the film, they actually show a Chinese claim to territory. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Hollywood, for proving that your activism means very little. I don't believe you care about any of this. The resolution is the third pro-free press anti-Trump statement passed by the union. The first was issued within the first month of the Trump presidency, 3 days after he slammed the fake news media as the enemy of the people. The fake news media is not my enemy. It is the enemy of the American people, Trump tweeted. He's talking about fake news media, but then he says, NY Times, NBC News, ABC, CBS, CNN. Many people on the right said, no, Trump's talking about the fake stories, not the real journalists. And it's like, come on, man. There's no real distinction. You might perceive it that way, someone else won't. And that's all that matters. The truth has fallen apart. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what Trump meant. I'm not going to play that game. Okay, we're going to have a conversation about it and say, will people take it one way? You bet they will. They will. Now, I happen to think the New York Times is kind of bad, but they're pretty much okay. NBC News is pretty good. ABC is pretty good. I actually think CBS is the best of all of these listed here, followed by the New York Times, and the rest, well, CNN's the worst by far. But come on. We live in this world now where Trump could say something. The joke is that if Trump came out for oxygen, they would hold their breath. I can agree with defending a free press. What bothers me is that these people don't pay attention. They're not watching what's going on. They're not watching these companies pump out fake stories. And they just blindly believe it and then defend it. How dare Trump attack these institutions? In response, the powerful union passed a resolution on February 20th, which, like its shorter, more recent resolution on the free press, opted not to name Trump. I'm not going to read through all this. You get the point. They say they issued a similar defense of the free press. We get all this. I'm curious when SAG-AFTRA, a Hollywood union, will call out the censorship of this content in China. I'm curious when SAG-AFTRA will stand up and say the censorship of the films made by our union members being altered or changed to appease the Communist Party of China is an egregious violation of free expression. Putting in China's claim. Wow. I kid you not. Check this out. They say Vietnamese viewers quickly spotted the map and started sharing screenshots on social media. The government swiftly announced the film was to be pulled from cinemas. We will revoke the film's license. Okay, SAG-AFTRA, let's see your statement. Your film's being pulled in Vietnam because it depicted a Chinese claim to a large body of water. I'm listening. I'm waiting. If you come out, I will have no problem saying thank you for doing so. I just don't believe it'll happen. I don't. We will revoke the film's license. Tai Quang-dong, Deputy Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, was quoted as saying by the Tran Yen newspaper. Now, I will say this. I disagree with that too, man. Dude, don't ban a film because they showed this. Let everyone see it. I think it's terrifying that they would ban the movie. But the point is, it's offensive and it's shocking that a Hollywood film, a DreamWorks picture. Now, it was produced with a Shanghai-based Pearl studio. I get that. This, to me, probably didn't come from Hollywood. I think while it was being animated in Shanghai or whatever, they put that in there. They put it in. It's amazing. But you know what's really funny? The NBA did the same thing, I kid you not. The NBA showed this map with the 9 dotted lines of the South China Sea. Boy, I feel for y'all in Hong Kong, man. I really, really do. Check this out. Heightened tensions between Vietnam and China. In August, police broke up a rare protest outside the Chinese embassy in Hanoi over the latest dispute surrounding China's incursion into Vietnamese waters. Yup. Look at what China's doing. Get out of here. So, Hollywood, I'm asking, are you going to be consistent? You're going to call out real violations? Nah, I didn't think so. You're going to make movies that actually depict, this is nuts. That's incredible. I kind of want to go see this now and just wait for that scene. Anyway, stick around. I got another segment coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.